What if I told you that a single innovation could change the world economy overnight? Or that a tiny Pacific island made millions just by selling 2 letters? Even wilder, what if globalization is shaping your life in ways that you don't even realize? Welcome back to the AP History podcast. I am Wendy, and today we are diving into Unit 9, Globalization. We'll explore how technology, economics, and culture have made the world more connected and the challenges that come with it. Let's get started. By the way, thank you to all of you who entered to win the Student Success Planner. The random winner should be receiving their copy of the planner any day now, and I encourage you to continue to connect with me. Go to bit.ly/APHH planner, all lowercase, and just answer a couple of questions, one of which is, what's your email address? And it'll help me get to know who you are, who's listening, and yes, you might get an email from me, but not very often, and when you do, it'll be full of helpful information, historical details, even an occasional giveaway, books, tutoring for students, things that will help you to be successful. Maybe even mentoring for my adult listeners out there, for my teacher peeps. Thank you for listening, everyone. Come in, students. Class is in session. Today we will be learning about Unit 9 of AP World History. It is the poor, oft ignored unit of the course, as many teachers don't find time to cover it and just tell students to go ahead and learn it on your own. Gee, thanks, right? So welcome to all of you in that boat, or to those of you who are just getting a little extra because your teachers do have time to cover it. I am not criticizing your teachers at all. We all do what we can with what we have. Many of you had to start after Labor Day. I get it. It's all good. I'm here to help. First, though, I'm sure some of you are asking yourselves, or me, what is globalization? So globalization refers to the increasing interconnectedness of the world's economies, cultures, and political systems due to advancements in technology, communication, and trade. This process accelerated in the 20th and 21st centuries, leading to international cooperation, economic interdependence, and cultural diffusion. While globalization has facilitated economic growth and innovation, it has also sparked debates over inequality, environmental impact, and cultural homogenization. So consider, as you listen, whether you think globalization has been more positive or negative for the world and the countries and the people who live in it. First, let's talk about technology. One of the biggest drivers of globalization has been technological advancement. The internet, mobile phones, social media, they've all made communication instant. A perfect example of this is the 2010 Arab Spring. Now, this was a wave of pro-democracy protests that erupted across the Middle East and in North Africa in 2010 and 2011. And it began in Tunisia after a street vendor set himself on fire in protest of government corruption. Fueled by economic frustration and political repression, movements quickly spread to Egypt, Libya, Syria, and beyond. While some governments fell, others cracked down violently, leading to prolonged conflicts like the Syrian civil war. And social media played a crucial role in organizing protests and spreading awareness, making the Arab Spring a key movement in globalization's impact on political activism. Another major development was the Green Revolution of the 1950s and 60s. Scientists like Norman Borlaug developed high-yield, drought-resistant crops, which increased food production and helped reduce famine in countries like India and Mexico. Energy technology has also transformed the world. While coal powered the Industrial Revolution, petroleum and natural gas took over in the 20th century. The downside? Fossil fuels contribute to climate change, leading to environmental movements like Earth Day, which was established in 1970, and Greenpeace, founded in 1971. Medical innovations had a clear benefit for mankind. For example, the development of safe and effective vaccines and antibiotics allowed humans to live longer, while the advent of advanced birth control gave women control over their lives and their bodies. People are healthier and living longer, especially in more developed areas of the world. Diseases associated with poverty persisted, while other diseases emerged as new epidemics and threats to human population, in some cases leading to social disruption. So these outbreaks spurred technological and medical advances. Some diseases occurred at higher incidence merely because of increased longevity. Diseases associated with poverty included those that could be easily prevented or cured, like malaria, tuberculosis, and cholera, whereas diseases more prevalent in more developed countries are tied to living longer, like heart disease and Alzheimer's. Global trade, or the exchange of goods and services across international borders, facilitated by trade agreements, transportation networks, and communication technologies. While multinational corporations rise, that being companies that operate in multiple countries, often with headquarters in one country and subsidiaries or branches in another. The 20th and 21st centuries saw the rise of free market policies and economic interdependence. Leaders like Ronald Reagan in the US and Margaret Thatcher in the UK promoted deregulation, leading companies to move their jobs overseas for cheaper labor. Some nations transitioned from state-controlled to market-driven economies. In China, Deng Xiaoping reformed the economy by introducing private enterprise, though political freedom remains restricted. In Chile, Augusto Pinochet embraced free market policies but used violence to enforce them. Free trade agreements like NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, ASEAN, which is the Association of Southeast Nations, and the European Economic Community, encouraged economic cooperation. Meanwhile, multinational corporations like Coca-Cola and Nissan expanded their global reach by bringing products to consumers worldwide. Outsourcing began to grow as businesses began the practice of contracting out business functions or processes to external providers, often in other countries with lower labor costs. While financial systems achieve global status with an interconnected network of financial institutions, markets, and instruments all facilitate the flow of capital across borders. Okay, it's our midway point. Time to stand up and stretch, if you can. If you're driving, don't stand up. If you cannot, at least tense your muscles. Give them a good tense and then release them a couple of times. And for those of you who are watching this on video, you're watching me do that right now. Tense up those muscles and release them, and keep doing that as you take a few deep breaths and listen to this episode's History's Wild Side. Did you know in 2001, a tiny country in the Pacific called Tuvalu became incredibly wealthy thanks to the internet? Tuvalu's country code, like their country code at the end of a URL, is .tv. and they struck a deal to lease their domain name to streaming and television companies worldwide. This unexpected windfall significantly boosted their economy, proving that globalization works in surprising and fun ways. All right, you ready to get back to it? Here we go. So, globalization also fueled calls for human rights. The United Nations created agencies like UNICEF and issued the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. In the United States, the Civil Rights Movement led to landmark laws like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. In South Africa, apartheid ended in 1994 with Nelson Mandela's election as president, after following decades of resistance and international pressure. India banned the caste system in 1949, though struggles continued. Policies like the caste reservation system sought to uplift the lower castes, similar to affirmative action in the United States. And the Negritude movement, emerging in the 1930s in Paris, encouraged Africans to embrace their heritage and challenge colonial narratives. Globalization has had both cultural and environmental impacts. It has created a shared global culture through music, art, and media. From Picasso's influence on modern art to the Harlem Renaissance's impact on literature, cultural exchange has flourished. Today, K-pop, Bollywood, and Hollywood films dominate global entertainment. But globalization has its drawbacks. Deforestation, air pollution, and water shortages have worsened as industries expand. Events like the 2019 Amazon wildfires highlight the environmental costs of development. The UAE, United Arab Emirates, for example, is investing in tourism to prepare for a future with declining petroleum exports. Professor Wangari Maathai's Greenbelt movement in Kenya drew a connection between environmental exploitation and inequality. With more access to education and political roles, environmental groups were better equipped to protect the environment and economic consequences of globalization. Some argue that globalization widens inequality, making the rich richer while keeping wages low in developing nations. Supranational organizations like the United Nations and the World Trade Organization help to manage global issues, but it also raises a concern about national sovereignty, independence. The more a nation participates in global organizations, the less nationalistic it is considered. And with dependency and unequal power relations, some argue that globalization perpetuates unequal power relations between developed and developing countries, leading to dependency and often exploitation. So therein lies the debate about globalization. Does a nation give up some of its autonomy and also some of its riches for the good of the world? Or do you say the heck with the world and we're just worried about ourselves? Think of it like a continuum with the world on one end, probably the left, and the nation on the right side. And every country falls somewhere in the middle of that continuum. And it's fluid, often fluctuating based on who the leader is and the events that are happening in the world. It's a good idea outside of the scope of AP World History. Yes, the world exists outside of AP World. It's a good idea to take an inventory of where you stand. Are you personally only worried about you? About your own well-being and bottom line? Or do you show empathy and action to help others? And just how much? Because, you don't want to end up destitute and homeless on the street as the result of helping others all the time. And at the end of the day, you and your family's needs need to be taken care of. We're currently at a bit of a crossroads in history, where we see nations like India and the United States moving to the right on that globalization continuum. Consider why and what those implications could potentially be. In conclusion, globalization has reshaped the world in profound ways. It has driven technological progress, economic expansion, and cultural blending. But it has also sparked debates over inequality, sovereignty, and environmental sustainability. As we prepare for the AP exam, remember to think critically about both the benefits and the challenges of globalization. So don't forget that giveaway for the Success Planner has already happened, but if you get on my mailing list, I will send you nuggets of knowledge from test prep tips to content. I'll be gathering details to see if there is interest in a review session before the exam. So go to that link in the show notes, bit.ly/APHH planner, all lowercase, and answer just a couple questions to get on my mailing list. Be sure to subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening for more AP History content. And the next episode, episode 40 comes out on April 21st, which is for APUSH Unit 9, covering 1980 to the present. And that's all that remains to get all the content covered before the exam. Do also be on the lookout, though, for that last episode before the exam. It'll be released on May 5th, and I'll be talking about the test and how best to prepare for it. It will be our pre-exam party episode. Bring snacks. If only we could share across the listening lines. Do be sure to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Substack, almost all the places out there where we can be social. And I will be putting up more quick study tips as we get ready for that exam date. And with that, this episode of the AP History Help podcast is now history.